up, my people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your boy Nassim the Dream, and man, do we have a special video, guys. I haven't done this and I don't even know how long at this point. I don't even remember what the last video I did was, but we're doing a full album review, and I had to make sure that the next full album review I made was a special one, and indeed we have that. Here is the review for the new Black Country New Road record, Forever Howlong. Out of Cambridge, England, the rock band, the 2022 Album of the Year champions, quite literally my current favorite rock band that is active at the moment. Black Country New Road is back in action with their huge third installment record, following the sophomore LP, the 2022 Album of the Year record, one of the most profound records I have ever listened to in my entire life. Ants from Up There. Still to this day, I play that record and sob in its magnificent glory. I feel it's also apparent to really mention the changes that the band has made with the departure of frontman Isaac Wood. It's obvious enough to say, if you're a fan, that Isaac was truly adored by the fans as well as myself. It was absolutely heartbreaking to hear about him leaving the band, which in truth was the best decision for him, as he really felt like it was affecting his own mental health, especially with the pressures of going on tour. And ultimately, this is what I also prefer for the artists and creators that I love and adore, as I really do care for them to prioritize their own health rather than my own entertainment. But it is important to mention that at the time, this really felt like this could be a devastating blow for Black Country New Road, as we weren't necessarily sure right away hearing this news that the band would continue, but thankfully the band has chosen to stay active and continuing writing new music. And I felt like all of us really still felt like we were in good hands due to how immensely talented each of these individual band members are and what they bring to the table. Later getting more assurance of the band's future with the live record Live at Bush Hall, I felt like this record really gave some great insight about the new adjustments, delivering amazing performance qualities, and still having that Black Country New Road magic to it. And now here we are with the brand new third studio record from the band, and I am delighted to share my feelings with you about the record that are more than positive. I love how this record has such a brightness to it, showcased by a foundation of acoustic guitars that are also really impactful by each member that give their own go and own lead in their expertise in that department that they play instrumentally. Simplicity is something that this band really factors in so well, that really just feels like something that is so small but just so powerful at the same time. Double layering is something that I really felt like is easy to point out for this case. To elaborate, vocally, the track Mary is something that I really feel like gave these beautiful double harmonic effects that really fill in the room with such vibrance. We see this played out effectively again for the 8th track for the Old Country, mostly given in the background as backup vocals, but also add this very haunting gaze to it that really brought this soothing sense of wonder. Now the first half tends to showcase more of this fierce writing style. Besties and Two Horses are the greatest examples of this, almost inducing the sense of hearing an indie band at a barnyard. And when I say that, I mean like it's almost like you're kind of like wandering in some kind of neighborhood or adventure, and you just kind of ponder in the direction of this band, and you just care to give them a listen, and you are just absolutely thrown about how amazing this discovery is. It really made me feel like I was walking around the Bonnaroo campground and hearing one of these up-and-coming new bands just performing, and you know, aesthetically everything is really there. There's some banjos in here, like I said, with the lightly acoustics on top of that, and then some of the vocal delivery and the production finishes on here. It really does add to that style. But my fullest thrill easily comes from the second half of this record. We get this slow, very focused tone of endearment, you know, a real moment of stillness all the way through from the very end of the outro. I love when this band brings in these slower motifs, because I just get a lot more time to absorb them and digest them effectively. Because believe me when I tell you, they are rich. If this is your first Black Country New Road record, it is also a good one to play, but when you go back into their first two records, you're gonna really get that sense of how well this band is when it comes to drawing in some effectiveness to their more slowly digesting sounds. That's where Black Country New Road really has me running through hoops, all the way through their light hitters that really bring this deep, alluring feeling. So even though I am really happy about the result of this record, especially when we're talking about the craftsmanship and all the effort all around from each of these band members that just really bring a really great team collective that you just can't help but praise. What this record did lack for me that others had was a compelling narrative that tied around completely. Ants from Up There provided a great progressive story of a toxic domestic relationship and metaphors that I found to be very incredible and at times sorrowful, which ultimately did leave a huge impression on me based off the writing development of this band. Now, that is not to say that the record does not offer any importance with some of their motifs and notions based off what these members have experienced and what they're writing in some of these songs. We could talk about the track Mary that follows the story of a girl being bullied and seems to be pertaining to a specific member, while it's creating this fear of being in a facility that really should only feel safe for somebody. Or even if we're talking about the second single, Happy Birthday, that has this notion of marriage, of following into wealth, that you know you're gonna be taken care of and given all these luxuries, but then as it brings into the story about this person that you married being on their deathbed, brings in a lot more of the harsh realities in there, and then also some empathy in there that it's not necessarily their fault because it is the world's fault that they kind of have to seek something like this. I thought that was one of the tracks in the entire list that really left the biggest impression on me. I guess what I'm trying to say is I found it to be a lot more compelling when we have like a more singular progressing story. That was just something that I felt like added along and just had this momentum building into it. And this one felt more so a bit like an anthology, I guess. I did just find it to be a lot more compelling when we're following this singular progressing story and having some of these personal ideas bring in that just really felt like it left more of a impression on me and just, I guess, resonated with me more emotionally. And with here, there are moments, like I said, that do reach that level, but it felt a little bit more of an anthology. You could get technical and say that these all connect to some kind of point in life, but I would really just say that I kind of mostly mean a singular story that has to do with these specific individuals that are progressing all the way through and all. I just really felt that was really important to mention before I get my final rating for the record, to, I guess, to give a little bit better explanation and evidence of why I felt like that. But truly, this record did really stick the landing for me, as I really felt like it took off so much of the momentum from the singles and really took advantage of that. There is brilliant teamwork on here. I mean, it is absolutely amazing to see how much these members really work well with each other, and then when there's moments where there's kind of like there's these blocks, they really do well of like holding back and conversating about these things and trying to get more people to help bring these different ideas into life. So I thought that was very, very inspirational. There's really great mastering to it. All in all, great performances. I mean, sonically, this is where we really see the true potency of Black Country New Road, and this is just a great example of why I feel like this band is truly something of a spectacle in post-rock music and post-punk music that I just don't find anywhere else. I just don't connect with that this closely compared to other bands that are active at the moment. Truly still drawing in unique discourse and just a wonderful addition to such a profound rock discography, and that is why ultimately I am giving Black Country New Roads Forever How Long an 85%. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know down in the comments of what you guys thought of this record. I still think that these videos are going to be a little bit more rare, as the short album reviews are just a little bit more easier to produce, and it gives me more of an opportunity to also give you more reviews. But also, don't think that I'm not going to be coming out with these full album reviews, as they'll definitely be coming out, and I already have an idea for another album that I have to give a full album review. If you know, you know. I've talked about in my comments on one of my other videos that I will be making a full review on it very, very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. It means the world to me, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Deuces.